So today I'm going to give you a quick owner's review of the Prado 150 2021 GXL. Now had the vehicle 2 months. In that time we've spent quite a bit off-road. We've done some serious off-road stuff, been camping trip up in the Flinders Ranges here in South Australia. We've done some boring stuff back and from work, so pretty much all round everyday driving for us. I've got 2 children, so you know, this is a family vehicle during the week, but ability to go off-road, and we've done some serious off-road. So I'll take you around it quickly in terms of, as an owner's review, what I really think. And yeah, so 2 months I've learned a bit. So you might have seen my first video, a couple of weeks I had it. I've learned a bit more since then about how things work and how to get the best out of it. Anyway, I'll take you inside and show you what's what. So for those of you who have not seen the latest version, this is the larger 9-inch touchscreen. Pretty good. I'll start the vehicle and we can just get you through some of the goings on. So found the vehicle fantastic to drive, even though I've had the suspension lifted. The comfort is fantastic. Yeah, it did change quite a bit when I had the suspension done, but I'm very happy with it now. So anyway, display, when you start up, obviously we've got the door open at the moment. I'll shut the door. I've got used to where everything is now. I love the display. I think it's really clear, easy to read. You can scroll through from some stuff. Obviously I've got set it at speedo at the moment, so there's an information screen that we're now in. If we go up, we can look at the economy. After my last refuel, averaging 10.8, that was pretty good, but that was coming back long distance from a trip. And then if you look at my average is sitting at 11.2. Now remember, I've done a lot of mixed driving, so back and forth to work for the first few weeks, and I saw the economy sitting over 12 then, not good. Then on suspension lifted, roof rack put on, that doesn't help either, although work trips are slow speed. So I think I don't think I'm ever going to see anything below that. Obviously after start there's nothing showing at the moment, but I don't think I'm going to see anything lower than 11. As I said, I've got standard tyres still, but suspension lift, roof rack, and then a lot of very short trips for work. My work's only about 11 k's away, so yeah, it is what it is. As I said, you've got all the other stuff in here that you can go through. The only other one, Dpf, is oh, I've jumped past it. Dpf filter, a lot of talk about Dpf filter. I'll say just from my own experience, the graph here shows 2 bars currently. Once it hits 4 bars, it generally kicks in and starts going. It then runs for, I reckon, anything up 15 minutes for me. And it doesn't seem to make any difference if I'm driving at 60 kilometers an hour or 110 kilometers an hour. It still seems to run for about the same time. The other thing I found is that I'm often going to and from work, and that's a 20-minute trip, so it could kick in there. And they say in the book you can switch it off. I guess you don't optimize your use with it if you switch it off, but you're not going to sit there for 10 minutes idling whilst it's running. So they say you can, but like all good vehicles, I guess you need to give it a good run, you know, on a regular basis, and that helped run some much higher temperature, higher revs. Shouldn't say temperature, I know nothing about that, but higher rev stuff on the freeway maybe, where it gets a good chance to run properly. And the same for the batteries and everything, you know, gives it a good vehicle run. What happens is once it kicks in, the display tells you it's running, and you can obviously exit that and get out of it. I often watch it, see how long it's running for, especially if I'm driving, out of interest. In the last, as I said, I've only had it, as you can see, 2,800 kilometers so far. So it does, as I said, does run on a very regular basis. There is a button, as probably most of you know, to press if you want to run it manually. Not sure I see the need for that, but anyway, so that's the DPF. It has at the top speed recognition, so it does recognize from must be a camera behind the mirror. It does recognize speed signs, So here in Australia anyway, I'm sure it does in other countries, it basically just changes that, and then you can set an overspeed limit to say how much over the speed you want it to ding dong, and or you can switch it off completely. So it just is a warning device if you go over your defined settings. So the touchscreen, 9-inch touchscreen. Yeah, look, there's nothing very exciting about it other than the fact that it's got Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. I'm assuming once that's set up, I show Android Auto though. Interesting that Apple CarPlay is not showing, but I'm told it does work. Anyway, I'm an Android person. It does have the satellite stuff. Not overly impressed by it. Anyway, there's other videos on this display. It serves its purpose. I'll look at probably getting another screen for mapping anyway. The rest of it, so this is the GXL model. Rear has rear vents, so they've got temperature control in the back, but you can actually control it from here by switching it on and off. So you've got the dual zone in the front. So at the moment, obviously each side is set separately, and if I do the rear, it'll tell me what the rear is set at, and I can adjust the fan and temperature in the rear, or they can too, but if my kids are messing with it, I can interfere just to annoy them. Anyway, that's that. That's pretty standard otherwise than that. Storage underneath, as I said in a previous video, I've actually put a bit of felt under there to stop things sliding around, because I use this as my main storage and actually use it for my sunglasses, because up here is a compartment for sunglasses. So one push down or pull down, and you get the mirror for looking at the kids in the back, which is quite nice, and if you pull it down again, you get a holder for sunglasses. But trying to get your sunglasses in there is incredibly difficult, and then that doesn't push up, so I've got them not in right. You know, honestly, I don't know what size sunglasses that was designed for, but clearly my head's too big. Anyway, that said, sunglasses go back down there. Down here, drinks holder. Nothing very exciting about that. Then the 4x4 controls here. So yes, got to use this quite a bit whilst we were away, which was fantastic. H4, low 4, and you've got center diff, rear diff, hill descent, traction control, and then second start. On that note, interesting, I didn't know, and I have discovered that when you put the vehicle into manual, or from automatic gearbox into manual select, if you put it in and select a gear, so let's put, say there I've selected gear 2, it will pull away in gear 1 and then try and change up to gear 2, but it won't go above the gear that you set. So if I set 3, it will go from 1, 2 and up to 3, but it won't go above gear 3. That's worth knowing, because you still, that's why you need the second start button, because if you want to pull away in second gear, you need to use second start. Hence, one thing, whilst we're talking about the gearbox, one of the things I love about this gearbox, and this is the first automatic I've driven that's built like this, is that you have to move the gear lever left and into the position. So it's in P at the moment. I have to push it left, or pull it left slightly to get it into reverse. Obviously straight down goes to neutral, straight down goes to drive. But when I want to go into reverse, it's an easy feel. I don't have to look at it, because I just put it up, and then I have to push to the left and up into reverse. So it's a physical movement as opposed to straight up and down, which means you know by the feel which gear you're in. I love that. I think that's fantastic. Okay, let's put it on. Same with park. You can feel you've got to go left and up to park. It's not a straight line gearbox. Fantastic. For those of us who grew up on the manual world, we like it. Anyway, so down the front here, 12-volt holder, obviously, and then USB. So this is the USB that's linked to Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So your phone has to be plugged in here, and you'll see that I've actually routed a phone down here and hidden it away underneath. So to the right of the steering wheel, we have obviously the stop-start proximity key. Mirror buttons here. You can close the mirrors manually and open them manually. Interestingly, that if you close them, they do open automatically when you get in the car, but they don't close automatically. Not that I've found, unless I'm doing something wrong, which I'm sure you'll tell me. Odometer button here. Light for the dashboard, and down here we've got DPF button, get it right, and then we've got headlights and headlight washer. That's where my spotlight switch will go, and then underneath fuel release, bonnet release under there. One thing interestingly about the lights and wipers, so the wipers, you've got an auto setting over here. At the moment that's on auto, so one into that position, wipers are on auto. That's pretty good, I like that. Headlights is a little bit odd, so there's no actual auto setting on the headlights to come on, so it's purely manual. And what is odd, I haven't actually tested it, but certainly if you put it on, I haven't checked to see whether when you switch the engine off eventually it goes off. It doesn't go off straight away, but maybe it does once the vehicle locks. We can test that in a minute. And you do have the auto dip high beam button here. So once that button is on and you put it into high beam, it should auto sense oncoming vehicles and dip the lights, take them off high beam. Not found that very accurate, so I tend to stick to the old-fashioned way, which I like. But anyway, that's that. So front seats, driver's side, you've got manual adjustment except for the lumbar support. That's actually a lumbar support button, and you can press that and adjust that, which is quite nice. Other than that, as I said, I've covered all the seats with neoprene. Front door, obviously all window controls, as well as window locking and car locking, so locking vehicle, window lock, non-standard. I do like the fact that they've got in lots of spare grommets here. So once we get into an additional wiring, we've got the ability to pull stuff through, and then we'll see how we go on some of the modifications. But so far, as I said, out of 2,800 kilometers, very happy. Ride is great, especially with the suspension lift now. Very happy with performance. Handles really well. Off-road's been amazing. We took the vehicle serious off-road, and even with factory tires, I was very impressed how even in low range, quite a steep hill, it actually just managed it. Haven't been through much mud, I have to say. Most of it was dry, rocky, big holes, steep pieces, but so I'm not sure how well these tires would do in the wet. But so far I've been very impressed. The vehicle is just effortless. You just put it in the right driving mode, and away you go. As I said before, all the controls are down here. We've used center diff lock, low range. I've used the hill descent. I don't enjoy the hill descent. I get it, I know why it works like that, but it really pumps the brakes like a machine gun when you're coming down a long hill, and it's quite an interesting feeling, I have to say. And I get it, there's a reason for that, because if you allow the humans to do it, we overheat the brakes. But on a long hill descent it's good, but I'll tell you what, it certainly gets you. It's only the first time you use it, and I have used it a few times, but it's good. No, it does the job well. Very impressed. Certainly low range, that's been really good. Not that I've always had to need it. I've found even in high range, this vehicle's so good sometimes that actually living in high range and going up a hill, it's actually been okay, as long as it's not too rough. If I reckon my speed is up enough, I'm okay.